Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. My name is Jeremy, and we're going to call this my first cup. The power's out. Power went out about 30 minutes ago. I was just about to start cutting my hair. Very thankful. I mean, not that, it would have been really a big deal. But I'm glad I started to cut my hair instead of getting in the shower, because being in the shower when the power goes out is never good. And if you hear beeping, it's the battery backups keeping the internet up. And that's where we're at. I got candles. I got some flashlights right here, so there's just enough light for you to see me. I know it doesn't look good. I am not going to be as good about responding to comments, but I will try. It's probably going to be a short show. Well, who's here? I want to say good morning to Brian, Dennis, Mark. Brian says, I'm staying home today. No travel to and from work today. That's a good thing. We have very little snow yet, but it's wet, heavy snow. And, I think I might be giving up on shaking the trees. I've been out to shake the trees several storms this year. I can't do it every time. So I think I'm just going to let fall what may and deal with the aftermath, because we're almost at the end of winter. Mark says, great ambiance. Thank you. Brian says, this is like a Goosebumps episode. There you go. Now, here's the painful part about this. This is a recording day. We have 4 episodes lined up. So I am hopeful that power gets restored. We've got until 9 o'clock. And if not, then I think I'm going to lose probably both of my next Tuesdays. So that does not thrill me. But Andrew and I will figure it out, because you do what you got to do. And if the power does not come back on by probably 8 o'clock, let's see, Kelly is here. Yep. Good morning, Kelly. We'll just push everything and reschedule, and I'll go back to bed because I'm tired. I'm drinking Pellegrino with a little bit of flavoring to it. Here's a hack for those of you who are perhaps like me and trying to drink less alcohol. Most grocery stores now have, whether they call them cocktail mixers or mocktails or whatever, they're fairly inexpensive. You can get a whole bottle pre-mixed, mojito or whatever. And I put about maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon in this, and it's tasty. And it's, 10 calories, if you care about such things. Because, I like Pellegrino, but plain bubbly water gets boring over time. Yeah, those tree branches are hanging. Ugh. Well, maybe I know what I'm doing on Saturday, pulling out the chainsaw. Good morning, Jenny. So, yeah, if you're just joining us, those are my battery backups. I'm glad that I have them. I could probably get through the day. We should probably get through the recordings with them, but then you'd have the beeping. And there's no way to turn off the beeping that I've ever been able to find. So, and honestly, I'm not sure I want to turn off the beeping, because it's that beeping that notifies me at night when the power goes out, so I can get up and I can turn on this, get a fire going in the stove and stuff. So Stacy says, plain Pellegrino tastes weird. Kind of does. Good morning, Frank. Kelly says, I love that my power lines are underground. Yeah, mine are definitely not. And yeah, it's all right. Just part of living in the woods. So tell me about your Monday. How was Monday? What did you do? How did it go? I had a whole bunch of meetings, and they all went well. Bunch of client stuff. Clients are all moving forward. They all seem to be happy. Email with another client, martial arts school client. We sent a bunch of emails back and forth. He's putting together some sweatshirts. And Yeah, I would say it was a good day. Capped off the day with my first CrossFit workout in years, and it was brutal, and I'm sore, and I was really happy to go back. It was nice. Most of you probably have not heard me talk about the synergy between CrossFit and martial arts, but there's a lot of synergy there culturally, and attitude wise, I guess. There's a lot of synergy there. Yeah, Jenny says, hopefully this gets fixed in time so you don't have to reschedule things, but I know you will make it work no matter what. You know what? I'm gonna guess it will not be. Just this time of day does not feel like it's not at the end of the storm. We're at the beginning of the storm. And we didn't get that much, coupled with the fact that very few crews are going to be out right now. We're towards the end of winter, so anything related to winter budgets is starting to reach the end, right? Because we're halfway through March. Not that winter's going away for us right away, but anybody managing a budget's going to be a little more cautious this time of year. Kelly says, I'm glad Jeremy said the beeping is on his end because I was going crazy for a minute looking for it here. Yeah, it's annoying. I know it's annoying, but it's the only thing I can do. So CrossFit, went to bed. That was it. Lots of work, lots of working out. That's generally my life, right? Did anybody check out yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Radio? Anybody check out Kyoshi Eric Menard? I think it came out pretty good. He's a good guy, good conversation, good stories. And I bet a lot of you related to his commentary on his comments on the school for him, a dojo, being his happy place, his home. And I know he's not alone. That's something I feel too. Yesterday, Dennis spent the day with his youngest son, who's home for a spring break snowstorm. Nice. How much did you get? I'm curious. What else is going on? Not a lot. Frank, I'm not going to be reading comments. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be reading the stuff you sent over today because I'm on the phone and it's just too difficult to manage from the phone. Stacy says she hasn't listened yet. Looking forward to this one. Good. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what else to say. You guys are gonna have to help me today. Give me stuff. Drop stuff in the comments. Help me out. I mean, if we're active, we'll keep going. But if this is going to start to fade, I'll close very early. Dennis says it's just sleeting here right now. We'll see what the day brings. Yeah, I don't know what the latest predictions are on the weather here. I kind of ignored that. It's like, oh, winter storm warning. Yeah, whatever. Because the last I'd seen, they were predicting like 4 to 5 inches, and I saw maybe an inch or two outside. Didn't think it was a big deal, but it is heavier snow because it's above freezing, or maybe right at freezing. Mark says Eric is an old training partner of mine. Great guy. Oh, nice. Jenny says the new book is available on Amazon, Celebrating Women in the Martial Arts. I posted some stuff in Patreon about that today. Everybody in the right tiers on Patreon got the book for free, or if you weren't in that tier, I give you a link for it. Kelly says another school cancellation, so classes are canceled probably. And Frank's suggesting we talk about storm preparedness. We could do that. So here's number one. I don't care where you live. You should have a secondary source of heat that is not power dependent. Now that could be a small propane heater. And of course, if you're going to use that in your house, there are all sorts of concerns with making sure there's some ventilation and everything. And you got to read up on that. It's technically not recommended for inside. I would never own a house in New England without a wood stove. In fact, it's unlikely I'd ever own a house anywhere without a wood stove. Other secondary sources of heat. It's if you're in an area where it doesn't get that cold, you can warm yourself pretty easily. But if it gets below freezing, think about all the things you could lose. You could lose your water pipes. That gets expensive and it gets dangerous. I mean, not dangerous, but disastrous, and flooding your home is not exactly a great thing. Good morning, Andy. So that's number one. Two, having a bunch of water put up. Just for drinking and basic bathing, the rule of thumb is a gallon a day. I have probably enough water that if I was to ration it well, I could get a month. I've got some big, heavy 7-gallon containers, and I think I've got 4 or 5 of them. I generally go through more than a gallon a day because guess what? Your toilet still works. If you have water, at least if you're on a well, it does. I can go without a shower. I can sponge bath. I can heat water on the stove. That's not a big deal. But not having water for the toilet, yeah, I'm not keen on that. Mark says he's looking into the Celebrating Women in Martial Arts book for his female students. That's great. Thank you. Available in, Jenny, I don't know if the paperback's out yet. Let us know. But there's an ebook version. There will be a paperback version as soon as Amazon approves it. Food. If you've been following what's been going out in California, 2 things have gone on with those snowstorms. Number one, people didn't have enough food in their house. You know what? If you're not sure how to have food, have a bunch of food, just go to the store and get a bunch of dry rice. That's it. Are you gonna thrive on it? No, but it's cheap and it'll last pretty much forever. If you're in an area where maybe you have more bugs than the rest of us, if you're in a more southern climate, put them in a big plastic container, put them in buckets. I don't care. Put them in something. Dry rice isn't going to go bad. Not in the timeline that most of us are going to care about. And then the other thing, and this is absolutely ridiculous. The people in California who were snowed in, and I wish I was making this up, some of them have been publicly complaining that their food's going bad. Well, you know what we do generally in New England when our food goes bad? Or I should say, when the power goes out and we're out for days, we go get snow and we put it in a bucket or a pot and we put it in the fridge. You do enough of that, you're good to go. I also have some thermometers in my fridge and my freezers, so I can monitor the temperature and make sure that I keep everything at a temperature it needs to be so it doesn't go bad. What else? I've got candles, I've got batteries, I've got flashlights. These battery backups, $120. $120 for 10 hours of internet. That's really what it amounts to. That's not that bad. So, I could turn one of them off and have 20 hours. Right? I guess the paperback is up. Stacy says she ordered hers yesterday. That's awesome. Thank you. And I want to thank everyone who contributed to that. I know Stacy, a bunch of the women in the Whistlekick kind of circle contributed to that book, to the intro and everything. And I'm really thankful for that. I had almost nothing to do with it, which was great. Maybe even nothing to do with it. I knew it was happening. What else? I think the other major thing for storm preparedness is making sure you've got a way to get out if you have to. What if the storm damages your home? Gotta have a car. You got to have stuff to put in the car. You got to have the car ready to go. Got to have, gas in the car. If you're one of those people who lets the gas tank run down practically to empty, don't do that. It's not a good idea. I would suggest all of you consider half a tank as your threshold. Just reading some of these comments. Stacey says cat carriers to get the cats to the car. Yeah, if you have kids or pets, there's a whole other pile of stuff to worry about, and you've got to be ready. I think a lot of times people will wait until disaster hits to decide what to do. Well, play disaster. What would happen if you lost power right now? Or what would happen if you lost your water right now? What would happen if your house was, unlivable? A tree falls through the roof, or heaven forbid you come home and it's, on fire. I mean, there are a near infinite number of disasters, and some of them don't affect you directly. If you take a look at what's going on with banking stuff right now, if this is not handled well, could become a really big deal. Do I think it's going to become a really big deal? No, but it doesn't mean I'm not paying attention to it, and it doesn't mean that I am not thinking about the things that I've done to prepare. For example, have a little bit of cash laying around. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you should have enough to get through a few days or a few weeks of maybe buying gas or buying food or something like that. If everything that you buy comes off your card, maybe you need to have some cash laying around. Kelly says, winter has gone on too long when kids are sick of snow. Dogs always love snow. It's true, they do. Most of them, anyway. I've seen a bunch of fun videos on TikTok of tigers in the snow. It's watching big cats in the snow is fun because they're just like dogs rolling around playing in it. I don't know too many house cats that like snow. I've seen some, but mine definitely would not have been one. What else? I think the other thing about winter storm preparedness is trying to find the high points in it. Is not being able to record today going to be a pain in the butt? Yeah, it is. Am I going to be thrilled about that? Absolutely not. Is it inconveniencing the 4 people that we had on the schedule plus Andrew with this rescheduling? Yeah, it is. But it also means that if I turn off the battery backups, it's really quiet in here. As annoying as it is that it was on this day, this is a simple day for me because I wasn't planning on doing work, right? I was going to record. So if the power doesn't come back on, I have, let's call it a day off. And I don't do those very often. So to sit and relax, I'm not going to watch TV. I could. The batteries will power the TV for long enough I could watch a show or two, but yeah. Frank says I bought some night lights that also double as flashlights in a power outage, like these. These are great. They plug into outlets and they turn on when they lose power, and they double as flashlights, and they're awesome. And I think I have 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. I don't know where the 4th one is. Maybe I bought 3 of them, and they were like $15, and I use them every power outage because one of the most difficult things when the power goes out is, where are my flashlights? I've got flashlights everywhere. I've got little flashlights tucked in every corner because when it's dark, everything is dangerous. Then it says, Stacy, yeah, I wouldn't use WoW. There was a DJ radio duo in New York years ago, Opie and Anthony, who started in Massachusetts and got kicked out during my college years, whose WoW meant something very different. It really did. Let's see. Do we want to? Yeah, we'll say it. Whip It Out Wednesday. It was a day that they encouraged women to expose themselves while driving, and it caused all sorts of chaos. And I'm trying to remember what got them kicked out. They played a practical joke. I think they said that the mayor of Boston died or the governor died. Something they took something too far and they got kicked out. And then they relocated into the New York market. And then I don't know if they're still around, but I think they ended up on satellite radio. I knew you did. Then he says, I typed Opie, ducking spell check. Well, WoW could also stand for World of Warcraft. So it's all right. I believe there's a lot of synergy between martial arts mindsets and just generally preparing for life. And I know that martial artists are much more likely to see the value in being prepared. And I hope that includes all of you. Because what could be a really big deal for some people is not that big of a deal for me. I don't have to go to work, right? Like, this is part of the value of having built the type of life that I have. Do I make as much money doing what I do? No. But I also don't need as much, and I have a lot more flexibility. I got candles going. Candles. I'm watching the snow come down. I'm talking to all of you. My biggest concern this morning was, what am I going to drink for first cup? Because the stove wasn't hot enough to make coffee. That's okay. At any given time, there are about 10,000 things that could happen to any one of us. Most of them are not likely. Most of our training, let's face it, statistically, the things that we tend to train for aren't very likely. But there are a lot of things that are likely, like losing power. Statistically, you're far more likely to lose power or have a water main break or something in your house than you are to be confronted with violence. If you spend hours a week preparing for an unlikely disaster, being assaulted, and not putting any time or thought into the things that are far more likely to happen, losing your job, the road washing out, or a terrible amount of construction so you can't get where you need to go in time, well, then I think you're not fully embracing what self-defense means. Self-defense, defending yourself from what? From everything. Self-defense isn't just about physical assault. It's about keeping yourself safe from life. Frank says, I have electric candles in my room. They are battery powered. That's great. One of the advantages to a candle like this, probably not like the one I showed you, but like this one. This one I wouldn't be able to do it with it as the flame as low as it is, but even a couple candles under like a cheap aluminum pot or something, you can heat some water. I can make some tea with a candle. Let's see, how about this one? Yeah, this one with the three flames, I could definitely do that. Even the side of it's if I keep my hands on the side, it will be too hot for me. Probably won't burn me, but it's hot. I think it's a fun experiment. Maybe you don't think it's fun, but I think it's necessary. What's going on in your life? What disasters are you prepared for? So I hope you have a great day. I'm watching the snow come down. It is kind of heavy. I don't know. Maybe I'll go shake off some branches. Yeah, I don't want to lose that branch. Um, Jenny says, random book update. It looks like Amazon has a special edition version of The Origin of Master Hopkick Beginnings on a discount right now. And generally that happens because we sold a bunch of books, and so they kind of prepared and made some books, and then we didn't sell them. So, because it goes in cycles and they do everything algorithmically. Thanks. Says, stay warm. Thank you. Kelly says, enjoy your Tuesday. Stacy says, good luck out there. And Brian says, when we lived in North Heartland growing up, we moved into a house with no power on purpose. Rough cut construction. Power goes out most freak. Me, I feel 14 again. Yeah. You can do a lot without the grid. I'm still planning on putting big batteries on the house, but the bank said I didn't have enough money. Okay. I've got more than enough money in the savings account at the bank. Silly banks. Whatever. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you tomorrow, Wednesday. And yeah. Thanks for coming by, and thank you for tolerating the annoying beeping in the background. Take care, everybody.